Ableton is dropping yet another update for Live 12. Live 12.2 is in beta right now. Let me tell you about my 3 favorite features. Full patch notes below if you want to see the full list of updates coming. For the first feature, let's hone in on these electric keys. These keys were created using the new Expressive Chords Max for Live device. Now, this Max for Live device is actually going to be available for people that own Live Intro, Standard, and Suite, so that's pretty interesting. Essentially, what this allows us to do is play single note chords. And we can articulate them in certain ways. I'm sure you heard that strum on there. They don't have to be strummed. Why not add a little strum? We can use tilt to emphasize lower notes or emphasize higher notes. It's a little subtle. And then there's also articulate here, which will help us. Well, first of all, we've been strumming up the note from low to high. Let's strum down from high to low. And then articulate adds certain rhythms to the strum. And then, of course, there's invert. I'll turn articulate off for this. We can go down octaves and play the notes in different orders, or up octaves. All with the single push of a key. Now, of course, this is amazing if you have a pad controller. If I go into drum mode on my launch key, I can play all the same chords now using the grid in a single finger. This is also coming to push 3, so that is good news for push 3 users. And good news for anybody who's got a MIDI controller and you want to be able to play one note chords. Heck, even if you've got your just chordy keyboard, playing chords is now that much easier. These are called expressive chords, so there's an MPE aspect where you can basically map MPE gestures to all of this good stuff here. All those parameters we were changing before, you could basically articulate those with MPE. Now, Ableton includes a bunch of different types of chord sets, but even if you don't like those, you can just, here, let's do it real quick. I'm going to make a 1-bar clip, and then I'm going to just quickly, hastily make these chords. Boom, I didn't even pay attention to what I was doing. But if we go back to this device, if I click on this clip and I press import, that is going to import those 4 chords that I just wrote. So you can either write your own chord progressions or import MIDI chord progressions that you got from somewhere else. Definitely be aware that since there are chords living on each of these keys, oh, and by the way, I can change this to key view. Since there's chords living on each one of these notes, essentially, those chords are like set in stone. So it's not like you're playing C and you're definitely going to get a C chord. It depends on the chord set. You can transpose these chord sets. So if you're playing in a different key, that's how you'll work with transposing this device. But let me tell you about the next feature, which is probably my favorite. All right, stick with these chords for just a moment. They've got a bunch of effects on them. They've got some delay, some reverb, and of course they're 1-note chords. Let's say I wanted to sample these. This just got a lot faster because usually what I would have to do is resample into another audio track, but now it's just as simple as highlighting the area that you want to sample, right-click, and hit bounce to new track. That is going to create an audio clip with all those effects, everything that was on the instrument printed in. And what's really smart about this is it mutes the clip that you bounced, so you don't get double audio. But this is fun for just getting creative. This kind of drone. I crafted this drone from going down the rabbit hole of bouncing a track in place. You can watch the whole process of making this track here on the channel. It was a live stream. We made this track in about 90 minutes. But anyway, in this instance, now that I've got that as audio, I can just quickly chop up these chords and then just quickly reverse each of them maybe. And now if I unmute that initial clip, we've got these cool little swells. Push some delay there. That is just a quick example, but bounce in place is a really fast sampling workflow. You'll also notice if we right click on a track, we can still freeze tracks. So if you want to save CPU but preserve all the plugins and stuff you've got on the track, you can still freeze, but the new freeze and flatten is going to be called bounce track in place. You're essentially just committing the whole track to audio. So really cool. Bounce track in place replaced freeze and flatten. Highlight any portion of a track you want, right click, and bounce to a new track for instant sampling. No more resampling. And finally, I'll hop over here to the master of the track. They have redesigned AutoFilter. So this AutoFilter that I've got on right now, you can see that it looks a little different, but I've actually got it in DJ mode. And what that does is gives you a single knob that gives you a low pass filter by turning to the left and a high pass filter when you turn to the right. You could pretty much program or map one of these yourself previously, but it's nice to have it included in the AutoFilter. We can also add drive now. I won't blow your ears out. We can add drive to the filtering chain here. And there's a bunch of different types of auto filters as well, or filters, I should say. Comb filter. I'm just showing this on the master for dramatic effect, but you can see that you can get some pretty fast, cool sound design situations just from these new filter types. So new filter types, redesigned auto filter, a lot of creative potential there. Overall, I want to say that I'm really happy with the support that we've seen so far with Ableton Live 12. If anybody remembers my response to the initial launch of Ableton Live 12, I wasn't really so stoked at the updates that they brought at launch. However, with 12.1 and 12.2, we are actually getting some really fun, really useful updates that I've been enjoying at least. Don't forget that updates that come to live generally come to Push 3 standalone. So yes, Expressive Chords is going there. The new auto filter is going there. There's also going to be follow actions on Push 3 standalone now, which seems really, really cool for making arrangements and performances. I haven't downloaded the beta to my Push 3 standalone yet, but if it's something you're interested in seeing on the channel, let me know. Like I said, if you want to see the full production process of this track from empty project to this complete arranged lo-fi house tune, you can watch that full session right over here on the channel. Turn notifications on so you don't miss a future live stream or a future video. And that's going to be it for now. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been TAETRO. Have a good one.